The fallen president, 4002 days of rebellion and justice. The night of the decree. December 3rd, 2024, 10:23 p.m. South Korea was plunged into darkness when President Yoon Suk-yeol declared emergency martial law. In a televised address that stunned the world, he characterized the opposition-controlled parliament as anti-state forces and vowed to cleanse the nation. Within minutes, martial law command circular no. 1 was issued, banning all political activities, protests, and media reporting not sanctioned by the military. Black Hawk helicopters landed on the grounds of the National Assembly. Soldiers from the 707th Special Mission Group and the Army Special Warfare Command breached the building, some rappelling from the roof. However, they were met with a wall of human resistance. Lawmakers, parliamentary staff, and citizens blocked the hallways with furniture and their own bodies. Despite the military presence, 190 lawmakers managed to enter the plenary chamber. At 1:01 a.m. on December 4th, they voted unanimously to demand the lifting of martial law. Under the Constitution, the president must comply. At 4:30 a.m., Yoon officially rescinded the decree, ending the 6-hour crisis. Impeachment and the first arrest. The fallout was immediate and historic. On December 14, 2024, the National Assembly passed a motion to impeach Yoon Suk-yeol with 204 votes, including several from his own party. His powers were suspended, and Prime Minister Han Duck-soo took over as acting president. Investigation into the crime of insurrection treason began in earnest. On January 15, 2025, Yoon became the first sitting president in South Korean history to be arrested. The Seoul Central District Court issued a warrant, citing the gravity of the charges and the risk of evidence destruction. Prosecutors identified Yoon as the head of the rebellion Naran Udumeori, an offense that carries a minimum sentence of life, imprisonment or death under Article 87 of the Criminal Act, the removal from office. While the criminal case proceeded, the Constitutional Court deliberated on his impeachment. On April 4, 2025, in a live broadcast watched by millions, all 8 justices voted in a unanimous decision to permanently remove Yoon Suk-yeol from office. The court ruled that the martial law declaration lacked any legal or factual basis and constituted a grave violation of the Constitution. Yoon was stripped of all presidential privileges and immunity, officially becoming a former president and a full-time criminal defendant. The Mammoth Trial. 42 hearings. The trial, overseen by the Seoul Central District Court Criminal Division, 25, became one of the most complex legal proceedings in the nation's history. Over the course of 42 hearings, a total of 160 witnesses appeared. High-ranking military and intelligence officials, including the former commanders of the Special Warfare Command and the Defense Intelligence Command, provided explosive testimonies. They revealed that there were specific lists of politicians to be arrested, and that special units had been tasked with seizing the National Election Commission. The defense team consistently argued that the president acted within his constitutional authority to protect national security. The legal battle was marred by delays, including a brief period in March 2025, when Yoon was temporarily released due to a procedural error regarding his detention period, only to be rearrested months later on additional charges of obstructing the investigation. The final stand, the delayed sentencing, January 9, 2026, the day set for the closing hearing. The prosecution was prepared to deliver its final sentencing, demand widely expected to be either life imprisonment or the death penalty. However, the courtroom drama reached a new peak. The defense team for co-defendant Kim Yong-hyun, the former defense minister, launched a 6-hour marathon evidence review. As the clock approached midnight, the grueling pace took a physical toll on the elderly defendants and lawyers. In a surprising turn, Yoon's legal team requested an additional date, citing the need for a thorough final defense. The prosecution protested, but the court ultimately adjourned, rescheduling the final sentencing demand for January 13, 2026. The nation now waits for the final word of the special prosecution. On January 13th, the court will decide the fate of the man who once held the highest office in the land, marking the end of a 402-day journey that tested the very foundations of South Korean democracy.